This is James Arnold Taylor, voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Welcome to a more civilized podcast. This is the podcast you're looking for. You may not go about your business. Stay here, listen, and then move along.
Hey there, Star Wars fans. It's time for another episode of A More Civilized Podcast. I'm Kyler.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ross.
And we also have a special guest this week.
I'm Carrie.
Yay, it's Carrie! So glad to have Carrie back on the show.
Hi, wife.
It's been too long.
Hi.
Stop being cute. You're gross. I'm just kidding. I love you both so much.
Now speak to me in Hutties. So cute.
What every woman wants to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Ross, do the news. Dang it. Sorry. We made a promise before the show. We're going to be serious because we have a healthcare professional with us on the episode.
Technically, what I promised was that I would be at my most serious.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's fair.
I deliberately use that wording.
Yeah.
All right, so for our newsy news for today, we have several items. Several kind of interesting, exciting things. The first one is probably the most surprising that I've read in the recent future, and it's not the one that's first on the list. Wedge is back.
Yeah, Wedge.
What?
Yeah. Same actor and everything.
I know,
Yeah.
because I've seen the articles, and it's like,
I don't know.
this guy hated Star Wars more than anybody.
Did he?
Like,
But
yeah,
then
are
his
you
nephew
sure?
got into it, so he had to.
But he still hated it.
Oh, okay.
But because originally, from what I've heard,
You can hate Star Wars an awful lot, but it's probably not more than the pile of money Disney can give you.
Yeah, that's true.
that's very true.
It's like, hey, how hard can we bank on nostalgia for this movie? Well, to the tune of 7 figures. That's how hard.
Yep.
From what I understand, originally the part of Poe
Was supposed to be Wedge.
was supposed to be Wedge,
really?
and that's why he dies right at the beginning of the film, is because that was supposed to be Wedge's send-off. Right?
Oh,
But when this guy would not come back and do it,
Dennis Lawson?
yeah, whatever his name is, because I guess there's actually like 3 people that have played Wedge.
And beyond
Yeah.
that, yeah, Dennis Lawson is who it is. But beyond that, Poe, Oscar Isaac, was like super jazzed about being in Star Wars, loved the character of Poe, and basically was like, please let me keep doing this. This is an awesome character.
Well, basically, yeah, they got him on. They hired him, and they're like, well, it's just this bit part at the beginning. And he went up to the casting director and was like, hey, baby.
Yeah, he smoldered him. Yeah. And at
How
that
about
point,
you
you
give me a
can't
bigger
say no
part?
to anything that he requests.
That was that.
So, yeah.
it's very, very true.
Yeah, for sure. But no, that was a part of the reshoots for Force Awakens, was his end of the movie stuff. Was like, okay, fan reaction to your character in all our promo stuff, super good, sure, you can stay in it. So let's add in a scene where you're not dead.
Yeah.
Who
And
doesn't
fly
want
around
more
for
sex
Disney.
appeal in Star Wars?
not me.
Which, and actually, I think was probably a good choice because it
Not
gives
me,
you
meaning
a.
I don't not want more sex appeal in Star
I think
Wars.
it's
Yes.
really funny how
Yeah.
he's the one wanting to get the episode done quickly.
Sorry.
Still.
Chris knows my weakness, talking about Oscar Isaac and how good looking he is.
It's true.
I, can't help it.
I was just going to say it's good that they did decide to keep him in because it gives you a face for the battle above Starkiller Base. You know?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
It would have just been faceless X-Wings.
Yeah, Greg
before.
Grunberg or whatever his name is.
Yeah. So, anyway.
It also explains a lot about what happened with Last Jedi, I feel like, because it's like, I don't feel like it was a radical shift for Poe's character, but he definitely didn't have an arc in the first movie, and then very much had a very drastic arc in the next one. And it's like, oh yeah, I can see how that happened. If it's like, oh yeah, we didn't even plan on this character being here, that's why there wasn't time to give him an actual arc. And
It's true.
makes a lot of sense.
All right, moving on. This is the...
You can comment, Carrie, if you want, by the way.
Okay.
You're here for
You
your
had
opinions.
taken over all of the Poe Dameron comments. I don't think he's as appealing as you think he is.
Carrie, hold the phone.
Few people think he's as appealing as Skylar thinks
Right?
he is, but-
just
That wavy hair, those eyelashes, that jawline. Dang.
that speaks to your heart, I know. Not quite me, but you. Yeah.
Wow. Carrie, that's good news
Would
for
you
Ross,
say
I
the
guess.
same thing? Would you say the same thing if I wasn't here?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He doesn't do it much for my wife.
She lied.
Yeah, was I not pausing long enough? It was okay, right? Yeah.
That means I'm sleeping on the couch tonight, right? Yeah, okay. Because I can't have you sleep on the couch. That was supposed to be a joke. Another joke that didn't land. All right, moving on. Next is going to be my favorite article of tonight for Chris to comment on. Apparently, the Cassian Andor series on Disney Plus is going to be directed by Tony Gilroy, who was the director of the reshoots for Rogue One.
Yeah, and co-wrote Rogue One.
So, what do you think, Chris?
I'm not thrilled by that information. Like, if this had been like, yeah, Gareth Edwards is directing the prequels or this prequel series as well, I would have been like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I feel like when I look at what Gareth Edwards tried to do with that movie, it was all pretty dang solid. It was the reshoots and the shifts and the particularly the one screenwriter, I don't remember his name. It was not Tony Gilroy, but that I feel like just battered that movie to death. But so I'm not thrilled, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe if he's given free rein from the start and he's not trying to cobble together something out of someone else's movie, then who knows?
And that was my thought as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I think Joss Whedon is one of the best filmmakers ever, but even he could only do so much with Zack Snyder's pile of trash that was Justice League. And
for real. So, that'll be interesting to see how that turns out. Probably fine, because it's going to be Disney. Or maybe... No, that's right. I was going to make a joke about how they'll get someone else to come in and reshoot, but no, he was the guy.
Yes, actually, Disney, you know what? Have Tony Gilroy direct this series and then have Gareth Edwards come in and reshoot all of it.
That would be funny. All right, now to video game news.
Woo!
Sort of. For those of you that were fans of the Knights of the Old Republic series, you'll be excited to hear that the name of the home planet of the Sith, or the main planet of the Sith, has been recanonized. So Korriban, which was in those games where the Sith had their strongholds, Sith temples, etc., is back. So, congratulations.
Yep. Basically, the in-lore idea is that Moraband, which is the name given to it in the Clone Wars, is just a newer name Korriban was a more ancient name for it. Now it's called Moraband. Cool. So, but it is recanonized.
Very nice.
Which retroactively makes me right, and Steven's fact check was wrong.
Kyler wasn't wrong, he was just ahead of the curve.
Yeah!
I wonder if they'll even keep a lot of the same lore and aesthetic behind it.
My guess would be yes.
Generally, when Disney recycles things, they tend to recycle them pretty thoroughly.
Well, and they're bringing in a lot of old EU stuff.
They are. They're just... I thought they would, and I'm okay with it, because it's just... It's now getting a proper place instead of stepping on everything else's toes.
Yeah.
And they're keeping, at least for now anyway, it looks like they're keeping the worst of the EU ideas out.
It seems like stories haven't been brought back in, but stuff surrounding places and some people names and things like that. A lot of brought back.
But a lot of the I do want them to keep the Cortosis out, keep the Asalamiri out.
Except Cortosis,
Cortosis is back in, but because it's just Cortosis and Asalamiri is basically just this is kryptonite for Jedi.
I'd say, although it is a little bit different. Cortosis. Before it was a specific to lightsabers. Now it's just a better energy dissipation type armor.
So, that's fine. That's not bad.
And finally, we have exciting Jedi Fallen Order news. So, first off, some tech specs. Apparently, it's going to be
juicy,
a little bit beefy. So
this is a little bit beefy in the same way that cow grazing in the pasture down the street is a little bit beefy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it is set to release next month, and so it is targeted for current gen hardware. And so you should have a good experience on whatever consoles you have currently.
Theoretically.
It'll be good enough. Come on, Chris.
Just turn the polys way down.
We'll see. I remember Shadow of Mordor's backwards port to PS3. That thing sucked.
But this isn't a backwards port.
I know it's not, but still.
Yeah, so it'll be fine, Chris. What website was this? PC Gamer had originally released an article saying that it was going to take 32 gigs of RAM to run. Now, for those of you that aren't as tech savvy, that's the highest end cards on the market that you can buy right now, those 32 gig cards. So, and the current generation of consoles aren't anywhere near that.
Yeah.
So
This is like buying a car and having being like, no. It's like you need the right gasoline. It's like, oh, do I have to get like the high end like fancy stuff? It's like no. It's like, oh, diesel? Does this run on diesel? No. This runs on high end refined diesel that you can only get in select gas stations here. And that like this is it's like what? Where is this coming from? That is an absurd amount of RAM.
Yeah.
Luckily, though, they then printed a retraction saying, "Oh, no, it's okay." That was the
Recommended.
Yeah, the
that was the
optimal.
max specs.
Yeah.
That was the actual minimum specs are going to be 8 gigs, which that's pretty average
Yeah.
these days. So
And the recommended is like 16. Right?
yeah, recommended is actually 16. Highest that'll get you the best of everything was 32. So anyway, from that though, we are starting
Next
to
year,
get.
I'm going to get 32 for my PC.
Yeah.
Doing it. Tax returns, baby.
We'll talk.
Hey, tax returns after a 4th kid. That should be nice.
Yes. Milk those kids. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Anyway, should we talk some more about Oscar Isaacs? That'd be
No,
fun.
Let's do.
Heather's already too excited.
We need an Oscar Isaacs dedicated show. Let's
Yeah.
put that on the schedule.
But
Wasn't that
in
what the
further,
Valentine's
come
episode
on,
was?
come on. We're trying to put on a show here.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You know, this is me
I'll
at my most
behave.
serious.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, this is hurting cats.
And something's happened recently. I don't know what it is. It's been worse these last several episodes.
What?
What?
Hasn't.
Yeah, it has. It's been so much worse. Last
Well, you got a dog with a terribly inappropriate name.
Oh, yeah. Hey, speaking of which, so
Yes,
Star
that's
Wars
true.
news. The dog has a new official name.
Yes, that's right.
So, you all remember the pug that Ross and Carrie inexplicably decided to name Akbar for some reason.
When clearly this is not an aquatic pug,
Yeah.
but a land-dwelling pug.
Yes, so we told you all a bunch of clever and wonderful names for it. The episode before last and the episode before that.
Yep.
But I wanted to tell everyone about. I went home after that. I told my wife about this, and later I told my sister about this. And my sister heard that, and I was like, "Yeah, Ross was telling
I
us." It's
also
like, "Oh,
told
here's
my
the
wife
name
about
for
it,
that."
and
Yeah.
she said the same thing you did. She's like, "That's a name for a fish."
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
And I told my sister, and I was like, "Yeah." Ross was like, "Yeah, you guess what the name is?" And so I told her all the things, and she's just like, "Well, Porg, right? Porg the pug." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can't believe we missed that. That is good." And she's like, "Especially if you're going by appearance, like if you want big eyes and a squashed face, it's a Porg." And I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
is
works.
good."
It works so
But
well.
my wife, like I was telling her about all of it, and I was just like, it's just so frustrating. They're going with Akbar, and it makes no sense. And I'm telling her all the pun names we came up with, and she's like, why didn't you just say Akbar?
Yeah.
And I went, how did we not
Yeah.
think? We were doing this for like 3 hours solid. How did we not think of that?
Yeah. And then Chris told me, and I said exactly that. I was
Yeah.
like, how did we miss that? Out of all the names we came up with, we missed the most obvious one.
Exactly.
Man.
But I told Kyler the great appeal about the name Admiral Akbar is that there's nothing Ross and Carrie can do about it. See, if we had named him Porg the Pug, or if we had named him Will Wolf Barkin, then
Such a good name.
they're still going to train him to answer to Akbar, and there's nothing we can do about that. Fortunately, though, Akbar is close enough to Akbar that we can call him that, and he will almost certainly respond to it.
He probably will, yes.
And so, by a majority vote of the podcast, our official mascot's name is officially Admiral Akbar.
Yep. So at any future events or on Facebook or whatever, be sure to refer to him as Admiral Akbar.
Yes.
Yep. Ross's face.
So I'm glad you guys reminded me to get that news in. Thank
Yep,
you.
that's right. Okay.
No. I still have news to do.
Oh, I thought you
Yes,
were
yes.
done.
Get the rest of the news.
No, because I just had a couple other things to say about Fallen Order.
Oh.
Just that reviews have been starting to come out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And things are looking promising. Strictly based off the fact of they're a month early, and that's not as common.
Yeah.
You will get it, but I mean, it's a good sign.
It's a good sign that they're not trying to hide this from reviewers until release day to keep
Right.
people from finding out that it's crap.
Yep. Which, especially being from EA, is a
Yeah.
very common thing for them to do. But also some of the descriptions of gameplay and story and things like that have been positive. They say that things like you talking to your crew, your character talking to his crew, are reminiscent of conversations from KOTOR. The actual like traversing the world and going to your different levels and things is similar to a Metroidvania style thing where you can go back and forth. You get a new piece of equipment, you can go back to old areas and explore new paths in those areas, that sort of thing. So it should be. I'm looking forward to it. Still have not pre-ordered, probably won't, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So
I'm intrigued to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I probably won't be playing it for quite a while to come, so
yeah.
gonna be a long time before I can afford that, and even longer before I have any time whatsoever to devote to it.
I had a thought, but we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
And that's
That's it. That's the news. Okay. Carrie, turn the time over to you.
Okay, let me give
Well,
you guys an introduction.
Yeah, as I say,
Did
well,
Ross just interrupt his wife? That is the best thing ever.
It is.
And then I interrupted Ross. Quick, Kyler, interrupt me. Quick.
Chris, no, wait.
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I was gonna say, Kyler, shouldn't we kind of brief everyone on what we're doing?
So, Carrie is easily the most qualified person in the room, just generally speaking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's very true.
the most adult among us, without question.
Yep.
Can't even argue that. So, Carrie is a medical healthcare professional of the mind. Something like that is your official title, right, Carrie?
real close, yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was close. What
actually
is your
like that,
actual
but
title?
I'm licensed as a clinical mental health counselor.
A clinical mental health counselor. Yep, I feel
don't have to repeat
inadequate.
I have one job on this podcast. It's stupid, but I'm gonna
Exactly.
do it.
And Carrie, a while ago, a couple of months ago, something like that. At least that's when I remember hearing about it. Said she wanted to come do her job on the podcast, something like that, right?
We were talking about therapies that different Star Wars characters needed, or something along those lines, and it got us talking. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so then, because I heard about it from Ross. He was like, Carrie wants to come on and like therapy some people or something. And I was like, that sounds hilarious. I thought he was talking about us, and then I got more excited and less worried when he explained that no, it was Star Wars characters in universe. And
We'll get around to diagnosing you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, good luck.
and Chris is the Joker, is what I'm trying to say. And so Carrie is in charge of this episode, and the three of us are just here to provide peanut gallery commentary.
Which we won't be doing because we will be super serious.
Yeah, very much.
Well, okay, let me explain what I need you guys to do in response to some things I present.
Homework? Carrie, I didn't
do.
know there was going to be homework.
You do. I think you guys will like this, so let me
That's how our
explain.
listeners feel when I tell them they have
You know, I've had a lot of
Basically.
teachers tell me I was going to like homework, but it's almost never been true.
That's true.
Okay, so as I was looking through some of the characters and deciding, hey, if this person had to be a diagnosis, what would it be? From my own Star Wars knowledge, I could make some educated guesses, but some of them I couldn't get to quite the full diagnosis. And you guys, as the Star Wars experts, I'd like to think I could bring some questions to you guys. You could respond with some answers.
That is theoretically plausible.
Yes, which is how therapy does usually work, especially if you're diagnosing like a child. So I work currently with teenage girls and their families. And so you get as much information as you can from the teenager or the child, and then it's very reasonable to say, hey, if I don't have the information I need, you're going to go to the caregivers or the people that know this kid best and try to get more information. So
Diagnosing the most childish Star Wars characters? Are we starting with...
we're starting
Kylo
with
Ren?
the most childish. Yes, it is Kylo Ren. My first one.
That's awesome.
So
Yes, Chris. That was not scripted or planned, by the way, because we don't know who Carrie has picked.
Nope.
no, I have picked a handful of characters,
Yeah.
and that's it. So the way I'm going to present it to you
There's
guys,
Jar Jar. I did forget Jar Jar. But
Or young
Okay.
Anakin, an actual child.
yes.
I'm going to bring up some things to you guys, and I will let you debate amongst yourselves. You will basically act like you
We
are
don't like
being
to debate
Kylo's
with each
parents. Right. I just finished listening to your bracket episodes, so I know that's not the case.
Did your pick win?
No, and I don't think you guys got it quite right either. Like, in what
That is
world
absurd.
does Thrawn
We
beat
never make
Tarkin?
any mistakes on this. Carrie, did you listen to the episode?
Yes.
In every way, Thrawn beats Tarkin.
We are not talking about the same Thrawn then, because he would win hands
I
down.
thought Tarkin did beat Thrawn.
No, Thrawn,
Yeah, Thrawn.
should have beaten Tarkin.
Oh,
He
oh
did.
no, I'm sorry. No, Thrawn did not beat Tarkin because Tarkin's more evil. He's
Oh,
more
that's
of a
right.
villain.
No
Thrawn's too
way.
honorable.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why
He
he
is
lost.
way more calculating. Anyway, sorry, you guys got that wrong. But I realized it wouldn't change the outcome of like who made it to the final ones anyway. So I tried to let that go, even though you guys were wrong. Anyway,
As soon as she listened to that part, I got an earful.
Oh, it's funny.
it's true.
It was good times.
So, just as if I was interviewing the parents of Kylo Ren, but hey, Leia and Han are not here to discuss this with me. So I'm going to rely on you guys and hope that you know these characters well.
Right. Well, first of all, I know he wants to be called Kylo Ren, but we prefer to call him Ben. Like,
Yeah.
it is his name.
That was
You
a
don't
great
want to
start. to that.
indulge. Yeah.
Did we discuss this? I don't remember that being decided.
His name is Ben.
His name is Ben. We're not going to indulge the delusion.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are
enabling.
already
It's
acting
enabling.
like
Very good.
divorced parents with like someone bringing in a step parent. That's how you guys are already acting.
I
This
knew
is
we
going to
could
be
do
so
this.
interesting.
I knew we could do this.
Okay,
I don't
so
know whether to take that as a compliment or not. That like she's congratulating us on our dysfunctional relationship. Like, I like. at
now you're
first-
deciding which of
yeah.
you is the step parent.
Oh, well, it's Chris, obviously.
I was going to guess you, Kyler.
What? No, Ross and I. We've been no. Ross and I are the married couple with problems, and Chris is the step parent. Or I guess
of you am I
ex-married
with?
problems.
Yeah, that's okay.
Let's be real. You're probably married to me, Chris.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Ross
Yeah,
is, Ross
that's
is
right.
Ross is with Carrie. So.
Because Ross left you for me.
Wait a minute. We
Sorry.
can't bring our son to her. Then. Like, this is a conflict of interest.
Wow, this episode.
Yeah.
Sorry, being serious.
Wow, and I've never seen these guys this serious. Okay, so to start off with, I would imagine you guys would be bringing Kylo to therapy because of his angry outbursts. Like
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure. He
that
throws
was the
tantrums,
symptom that stood out to me the most.
breaking things.
He's very moody.
Yeah.
I'm worried that he might be cutting.
Okay, might be a self harmer, like with the lightsaber, or is that too intense?
I don't know. He
No.
got in a fight with the girl, and I'm pretty sure he just let her cut him up. Like it's like
He
cutting by
but
Jedi.
he wouldn't cut himself, but he'd cut other people.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's got some really antisocial tendencies.
We have seen an awful lot of skin
Some
of his that
violence.
is not cut. So I mean,
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. He has been focusing a lot on his workout regime. Like really like him
The
to get
gym,
better balance.
obsessively, you might say.
got it. Okay. Here's where I need you guys to take your best guess. I know we see a few tantrums in the movies. How often do you feel like these tantrums, these outbursts are happening? Are we talking like once a day, once a week, a couple times a week?
I'd say daily.
I don't know.
Maybe a
daily.
couple times a
I would
week.
say a couple
Yeah,
times
a
a
couple
week. It's
times a
definitely more than once a week, but I don't know if daily. Because I mean, as long as nothing goes horribly awry that day.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A couple times a
But
week.
even
I
somewhat
don't
minor
know, but-
inconveniences will set him off.
I mean, but we see at least two major freakouts in Force Awakens alone, and that's over the
Sure.
course of what, like 48 hours, like.
But he's also getting some pretty rough news of
Yeah.
both of those.
True, but then the first time we immediately see him in Last Jedi smashing his helmet and smashing the elevator up.
To be fair, he had a rough day at work.
Yeah, but again, how much to be fair are we going to give him here?
Yeah, no,
like,
none
it's not
at
about
all.
how
I'm a
it's
parent
not
of
about
no mercy.
about the circumstances. It's about the fact that he is consistently. I would say
Yeah,
it's daily.
It's a couple. It's definitely on the line between a day and a couple times per week.
And then the way he freaks out when he sees Luke. I mean, he throws Hux against a wall.
Probably
knocks the
every
dude
other
out.
day, now that I think
I'd
about it.
say daily. I think it's a daily thing.
So it'd be fair to say at least 3 times a week, probably
yeah.
more.
Easily.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, at least 3 for sure.
Okay. Okay, so in between those outbursts, would you say his mood is irritable or angry most of the day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty easy there, okay.
Yeah.
He's a little turd, is what I'm trying to say.
Dude is like 90s goth kid turned up to 11.
Yep.
Okay. Do you feel like his outbursts would show up in multiple settings? We're not talking like he only explodes at family. It's going to be at friends too, in his
Definitely
work
explodes at
life.
family.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's pretty.
Yeah,
anywhere.
it's work. He
It's at
murdered
work.
his boss. That was pretty bad.
And his father.
And his father. So yeah, I would say this is definitely a multiple setting sort of thing.
Destroyed all of his school and classmates.
Murdered all
Oh,
his
yeah.
classmates.
Yeah,
He's
that's
murdered several
right.
coworkers.
Okay.
He has really trashed like company property in the presence of coworkers.
Yeah.
Coworkers
Without
are afraid of him.
Yep. Multiple
Yeah.
settings.
Okay, think of him as a young child.
No problem.
Okay.
Do you think he started showing some of these symptoms when he was 6 or older?
Yeah.
6 or older, yes.
My main thing I'm going on here is in The Last Jedi, Luke specifically refers to that when Han and Leia sent Ben to him for training and them being reticent, Han in particular being reticent about that. I kind of get the feeling from that there was already a bit of friction and misbehavior from Ben. Like the way Luke frames that is very much like they were sending him to me hoping that I could curb those tendencies.
And he was in his teens, though, at that point.
Yeah, but it's like it had clearly started before he came around to training.
Is there another cutoff at the teenage?
One of my follow-up questions is, would you guys feel like it did start getting intense before he turned 10?
I don't think before 10. I don't get the feeling before 10. Or at least not anything more than like a normal
I'm
kid
going to
getting
go
in
with
trouble,
the way
you know?
that Luke frames it as Snoke is the one that brought this about. I would say probably, yeah. It probably wasn't before 10.
Because we have a rough timeline. Because Kylo's in his late teens, early 20s, right?
Yeah.
And the whole Jedi Temple thing happens. Didn't we decide it was like 7 years before?
We don't
or
know for
something
sure.
like
That,
that?
yeah, it's vague.
But it was roughly in that, especially with some of the books. and
Yeah,
the
he's
things
like
that
his
lined up.
mid-teens, 15, 16, something
Yeah.
like that, when he kills his classmates.
So we're looking at this turn to the dark side within the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
How old is he currently?
Early 30s.
Yeah.
Oh, that
old?
much?
No, I thought it was like 20s.
It might be late 20s.
Because
yeah.
he and
I
Ray
don't remember.
are, give or take, within
Yeah.
a couple of years of each other, and she's early 20s. She's like 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they can't be the same age because they're siblings, and so unless they're twins, that's not.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely could have been, 2 19-year-olds, right? Yeah. Okay. I have another serious question about your son.
Okay.
Is he on drugs?
Is the Force a drug?
That's a good question. Or is it a
When used as
natural
the
high?
dark side, maybe.
Yeah. Like.
I don't think he is taking any substances.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
say that.
Yeah,
Okay.
No indication of that anywhere.
Even when you've seen his muscles, you don't think there's like steroids involved?
No, he hits the gym a lot.
Have you seen his dad?
Hey,
That's
no.
true.
And with the skill with which he uses that lightsaber, he's in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
earned
so
those honestly.
he's earned
Okay.
But then again, don't they mention like the dark side being intoxicating or something like that? I think somebody says that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily
not-
the
it's
same
not
as
a substance,
Substance
but-
abuse, yeah.
The I don't know. What does the DSM-5 say about the Force?
Sadly, it is silent on the subject.
Lame. We need more funding for Force research.
Yeah, I would say no. I'm not seeing any substance abuse problems.
Yeah.
Okay, fair to say. All right, I have been looking through a couple different disorders with Kylo, so those focused on one, I want to be able to ask you the questions for the other, and then we'll talk about like which was closest and why.
Cool.
So, for another follow-up questions for another disorder, have you noticed a lot of verbal and physical aggression towards property, animals,
Yes.
or other individuals?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Animals? Have we seen animals? I don't think we've seen animals.
Yeah, so I can't think of any indication of him being violent towards animals.
I don't think he would. I don't know. I think in a fit of anger, if there was like an animal around,
Like
Yeah.
if there was a
kick it
droid
or
around,
something.
I think he'd kick
Droids,
a droid.
absolutely.
So
for sure, yeah,
Yeah.
he'd smash droids like he would a computer console.
If
but
there just happened to be a porg nearby, he'd drop
oh,
it.
he would
Yeah.
drop kick that sucker
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
He would force kick it. It would
So,
be
yes.
like a 300-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Okay. And we also know from the movies he is capable of property damage in his outbursts.
For sure.
So much.
Sure.
So much.
The bills we keep getting from the First Order are unbelievably high.
The only employee who is not sick of repairing all this is Matt, the radar technician.
Yeah, that's
He's weirdly on Kylo's side.
it
about
is.
this, but
It's
everyone
kind
else
of
is just
weird.
sick of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys feel
Maybe it's a
like
crush on him or something? Because
something like that? Do you guys feel like his outbursts are premeditated, or is he doing it to achieve a goal?
no.
This is more on
This is
impulse.
just his
He's
absolute
angry.
pure anger outlet, like an impulse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you feel like his outbursts are causing him some distress?
I don't know. We got to go back to that. Oh, I would say the majority of his outbursts are just a response to anger. He gets angry, loses his temper, destroys stuff. But there is the village that Lord Santek
But that's not
was
an
hiding in.
outburst. That's just a callous murder.
Yeah, and he murdered everybody in there. Like,
Yeah,
that's
but
premeditated.
Yeah, but it wasn't an angry outburst. It wasn't
No,
a
that's-
violent. Yeah, like this was.
It
that
wasn't
was an
violent.
that was an act of war. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't a fit.
Murdering a bunch of innocents.
It was absolutely cold blooded. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it in the same
Okay.
category as all the
I
others.
retract it.
Kylo recedes the point. Okay. No, concedes
Yeah.
the point.
He wasn't sitting on a Star Destroyer.
I was
like,
right. He was less
I
right.
hate those guys. Nuke them. He was.
Yeah.
It was. They have something we need. Let's go shake them down.
Yeah, but after they got it, then he murdered the whole town.
So it's
Yeah,
just
no witnesses.
cold and psychopathic. But anyway,
Have you noticed him have to deal with consequences to his outbursts, such as it's causing him to stress because he's creating like financial problems or legal problems? Is it causing
His
problems in
boss
his work?
does take a fairly firm hand when his boss thinks he isn't living up to his.
Yeah, but it's not it's not about any of the
Expectations.
angry outbursts.
Right.
He never once gets called out on any
Oh,
of
that's
those.
true.
all
Yeah,
the stuff
no,
he
okay, that's
destroys
fair.
everyone
He's not the
just
one
fixes
paying
it.
for any of
Yeah,
the
that's
fixes.
true.
So yeah, no.
There's a lot of enabling going on. At
all
work.
of his angry outbursts are relatively consequence free.
Okay. Mostly it sounds like because of his situation. Had he been in a normal family environment having those kinds of outbursts, would he get called to the carpet for it?
Well, from Han and Leia and Luke, probably.
I feel like they would try, but I don't feel like he would.
Han
be-
literally abandons his family because he can't deal with it. So I'm feeling like Han probably
Yeah.
does
Well, and,
not.
and also, so are we talking like how his authority figures around him inflict on him, or how he reacts to censure? Because like so for instance, my dad has told me before that I was basically unpunishable as a child because I did not care. Like they would punish me. It's like, all right, we're taking away your toys, and I'd be like, all right, whatever. And it's like, you're grounded. You can't go out of the house. Cool. I'll read some books. We're taking away your books. All right, I'll draw. It's like, you know, they'd reach a point where it's like, we can't feasibly take more away, and I was fine.
it's frankly amazing you turned out as well as you did.
Yeah, it turned out great.
I didn't say you turned out great. I just said as well as you
Thank
did.
you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's just like it was very difficult to effectively punish me because I didn't really care about the consequences. So, are we asking does Kylo not care about the consequences?
Or is he just not
like if someone was
receiving
trying to or is he just not receiving correction from anywhere?
This would be more, he has consequences to those outbursts, such as they interfere with his social life, they interfere with his work life.
Well, he was sent to his Uncle Luke's Jedi Academy, presumably to start
Initially,
correcting some
yeah,
behavior.
but I would say generally no.
But generally, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would also add to that, though, based on how the stormtroopers react to him, he doesn't have much of a social life while on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
True. Matt, the radar technician, is really his only friend.
Yes, that's true. Okay,
And then there's this girl that he's creepily stalking.
Yeah, but that's not really a friend
It's not.
thing.
Well, it was for she reached out for a little bit, but he screwed it out.
Big
they
time.
almost had a connection, and then
Yeah, they touched.
She
fingers.
severed it.
It was adorable.
Okay, using all the information then that you guys are adding to, you know, what I already know about him, we would have picked the diagnosis of intermittent explosive disorder. So this one falls in the category of impulse control problems,
Yeah,
where
for sure.
the first batch of questions that I was asking you guys were a lot about anger, but that was for disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, which is technically in the depression category. So my theory on this would be he probably started out as a young child with some more depression. Like his dad was not around, his mom was busy doing government. Like it didn't seem like they had the greatest family life. Totally normal for a kid to have that kind of a reaction.
That seems accurate.
Could have had outbursts, But as you guys pointed out, was like some of the ages and some of the things don't quite fit. That one he actually would no longer qualify for because he's over 18. So intermittent explosive disorder would be a better fit. So that one is focused on, okay, someone's like had this for long enough that they are now just reactive. They're impulsive. They're gonna just respond with anger and haven't learned to like control that and tap into that.
All of that is about 1,000% accurate to Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I felt that way
Carrie.
as
It's
I was
like you're a
going through
professional
these.
in this field.
I try. Also, it was so much easier to diagnose the bad guys when it came down to like, okay, there's a couple good characters that I feel like could benefit from some therapy. Like, again, Leia, not so much the best mom. Her whole family needs to be in family therapy.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't diagnose Leia with
Last
anything.
Jedi Luke needs some hard therapy.
Yes. Yes, he does. Okay.
It's going to be one expensive bill.
So I am going to give you guys another bad guy to be talking about.
Okay.
This one, I don't have two diagnoses
As
to
a
debate
medical
between.
professional, should you really be labeling these people as bad guys?
I can just see
You're
Carrie
right.
at work now. Bring in the next bad guy. Hey there, villain. Let's talk.
Sorry, that was my
And
last
that kid's
job,
like,
not this one.
Finally, someone understands me.
That would be Kylo's reaction.
Okay, so we're really talking about symptoms for one disorder for this
Okay.
one. It's absolutely going to fit. I feel like you guys are going to agree with me on this one.
Sweet.
We are talking about Jabba the Hutt.
Ooh.
Okay,
Wow.
so...
Dude, I did not expect Jabba to be
Yeah.
on this list. Well done, Carrie.
Absolutely. It was pretty easy to pick his, mostly because he's a crime lord, and most crime lord mob bosses, actually just convicts in prison, all fit usually
sense,
into the
yeah.
same category. So I'm going to read through these, see if you guys agree with me. I guess considering you are the parents of Jabba.
Oh. I dibs not being Garjula.
All right, would you say that...
You after my boy?
you guys are
Nose
terrible.
goes. Chris.
I was on board. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Would you say that Jabba has probably been violating the rights of others and disregarding the law since age 15?
To put it mildly, yes.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Do you notice that he's had no respect for the law? Whether he's been arrested, he's definitely done acts that have been grounds for arrest.
Hourly.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Again, this felt
Every hour he's
super
awake,
accurate.
there's something, yeah.
Have you noticed him using deceitfulness, lying, using aliases, or just conning people for personal profit?
I feel like the more answers we agree
actually, I
to
feel like
here,
that one's
the more likely
surprisingly
we're going to
less.
get like a bounty taken
so
out
can
on
you
us by the...
can you list those again?
Yeah, deceitfulness, lying, using aliases. I don't know of any places we see Jabba doing that.
I don't know that he uses an alias, but deceitfulness and
I don't
lying.
feel like he's generally that deceitful.
Conning for personal profit.
Sure.
Oh, that for
That
sure.
one, yes.
Yeah.
I get, but deceitful.
He is, though. Like, we see him set the trap for Leia when she goes to rescue Han. The curtain pulls back.
Yeah.
He's already awake and waiting. That's kind
Yeah,
of
but that's
deceitful.
exposing her deceit, not not being
but-
deceitful himself. Like, he's actually pretty straightforward as far as a criminal goes.
Except for when he gets Luke to stand over the trap door. That's a little deceitful.
But that's not necessarily getting Luke to stand there, quote unquote. It literally takes up the entire floor in front of his podium. It's
Okay.
where people are going to naturally
What
stand.
I'm looking at, like, okay, so we get like Clone Wars. You know, the Clone Wars movie is based around, hey, let's get Jabba's son so that we can get in good with Jabba, so
Yeah.
that we can move our troops in to get supplies through the Outer Rim. Like, and as far as I know, Jabba always holds to that. We get the point where what's his name's daughters are kidnapped by the Separatists.
Oh, yeah.
Or by the Trade Federation, and they're dealing with Jabba again, and they
Chilway
basically,
and-
they basically go to get Greedo, and they're like, all right, we've got a gun at him, and now we're going to take him across the building to Jabba. They take him straight to Jabba, and Jabba's just like, hey, what the cuss is this? Yeah, you kidnapped his daughters? That's not okay. If you want to live, Greedo, you're going to go get his daughters. Like, I feel like...
I'll give you that.
I feel like Jabba, as far as a criminal
Jabba
goes, is actually
powerful
remarkably
enough
honest.
that he can afford to be straightforward and be like, look,
Sure,
this is the
yeah.
deal. Take it or leave it. So, I'll give you that. But the conning other people, or like the what did you say it was? What's the word?
Conning for personal profit.
Yeah, that is his whole racketeering thing as a hut.
Sure.
Which those are part of the same criteria. So if we're saying yes to that,
the behavior's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just shows up differently.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot to explain this at first. I am reading through 7 different things, and we're seeing how many he fits to see if he qualifies for this.
Okay. How many does he have to fit?
3.
Yeah.
So I am sure he is, going to get this. We've only hit 2 so far. So next one, do you feel like, as his parent, he is impulsive or fails to plan ahead?
No.
He's
Jabba
the
is a
planner. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he's irritable, aggressive, maybe even getting in physical fights?
Yeah.
He
destroyed
and
his
aggressive.
last protocol droid and then knocked this one down frequently. Like he's
Ula
pretty
and
abusive of the
guards,
things around him.
He's not fit. He himself is not physically, like, he doesn't get into altercations, but he absolutely will have.
But he will beat on his protocol droids
that's
just
true.
for just because he's
they're in
throwing a
easy
temper
arm
tantrum.
range.
Sure, but
So yeah, okay.
I don't doubt
All right.
that if someone else was in easy arm range, he wouldn't do the same. He tries to drag one of his slave women up onto the podium with him, and when she won't do it, it's just like, all right, cool, Rancor for you. Like,
Yeah,
Doesn't he do something to Bib Fortuna when he lets Luke in?
he just chews him out. He doesn't hit him or anything.
Doesn't hit him or anything? Okay.
He's like, you're an idiot.
fool.
Yeah, weak-minded fool. Just chews him out.
Because I thought he doesn't.
He berates
does
him
push him
publicly
away. I
in
think
front
he
of
pushes
all of
him
his coworkers and friends.
I think he does push him away, though. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Steven, fact check us.
Yeah.
All right. Do you feel like he has a reckless disregard for the safety of himself and others?
Others,
The others part
Yes,
fits.
not for
not
himself.
His own safety is paramount, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
He did make the mistake of putting himself as an opposing force to protagonists, so that wasn't a great choice. That was pretty disregarded.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's generally pretty good about that.
That's true. Really, up until that moment,
Yeah.
he was. Yeah, okay. Lapse in judgment, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He really didn't like Han Solo.
Do you feel like he has been consistently irresponsible, failing to sustain things like work or financial obligations?
No,
He follows through on
his
those.
work is booming.
Yeah, and
Okay.
he's apparently a pretty decent father.
Yeah, that's true.
Like-
Willing to kill lots of people to save his son.
Yep.
Okay.
When he is like the leader of the Hut.
He
cartel,
is.
right?
Yeah,
He's the mob boss, yeah.
King Hut.
During the Clone Wars, he takes over.
Right.
That's when he becomes
Yeah.
the Hut.
Does he lack remorse? Is he pretty much doesn't care about hurting others?
Uh huh. For
Okay.
sure. I don't know if he's told you this yet, but he actually kept a guy that he really hated as a wall trophy for several years.
And this was a guy
So-
that he actually really liked.
But he just screwed him over.
It was one shipment. Like this guy had failed him once.
No,
and then
he
failed to
him
pay
a
for it
couple
a
of
while.
times.
Okay. Oh, did
But,
he? Okay.
yeah.
Apparently, I wasn't in on the whole story, but
But yeah, I mean, wall trophy. So
trophy.
not
And then as soon as he
great.
got free, he's like, "All right, well, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
I'm glad I interviewed you guys because in my interview with Jabba, he only really disclosed that some of these fit with him, and then he ate his protocol droid or pushed him down a Rancor pit. And
Yeah,
so we
he
didn't
had
get
his
to finish the
previous
interview.
protocol droid disintegrated,
Yeah.
and then also,
Oh, and that's
he
pretty
was,
disregarding. There,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He
but
actually
then
has a torture chamber just for droids.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure that they have to like
run
specifically
by
install.
a droid, no less.
Yeah, they have to like
Yeah.
specifically install pain receptors in these droids in order to torture them in the first
Yeah.
place.
But then also that guy
that
that he
doesn't
kept
speak
as a
well.
wall trophy when he got out of his wall trophy case, he took him to be slowly digested over 1,000 years in the belly of the Sarlacc.
Along with
So-
all his friends, just because they
yeah, because they
because-
were there. So
Yep.
except for the one that he wanted to keep his eye candy.
well, who could blame him?
Yeah,
Okay, I don't know how old Jabba
gets
is,
that from you.
but would you say
Yeah, he does.
you're Poe Dameron eye candy? Would you say he's over 18 years old? I don't know
Yes,
how old
he
Jabba
is.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Jabba
He's
is
pretty dang old, actually.
he's at
I don't know how
least
the Hutt's
in
age,
his,
but I believe he's in his like 300s.
because he's an adult in episode 1 at the Boonta Eve race.
Yeah.
He's already an adult,
Yeah.
so well into adulthood.
Okay.
Yes.
Follow up
Why
question.
are you
has
paying for
children.
his therapy then?
Right? Do you feel like he would have shown some of these symptoms, like, disregard for others, disregard for the law, before he turned 15?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you guys
Pretty
can
sure I
picture
raised him that way.
a young
Yes.
Jabba to do that. Okay.
Yep, for sure.
As far as you know, he doesn't have schizophrenia. He doesn't have bipolar.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
He seems pretty emotionally stable aside from those occasional outbursts.
All right.
He
So
does not enjoy being thwarted, mainly.
Yeah.
got it.
Contradict him and you're in trouble. But
Yeah, thwarting is a no-go.
If you have any familiarity
threaten
with
him with a thermal detonator and he'll like you, though.
okay,
That's true.
Fair.
That is a little weird.
If you had any familiarity with some of the questions I've been asking, I have been asking about antisocial personality disorder. So he clearly has this. He did meet 5 of the 7 criteria. So that's pretty extreme.
Which I wouldn't have expected because he has like an awesome band and like a party every night in his house.
You know, from what I
not
understand, the
that,
band is
yeah.
actually there basically as hostage.
It's mainly based around his regard for other people, if I understand it right, though. It's not necessarily, and the way he treats them, not necessarily, but like you can have antisocial personality disorder and still have parties, still have friends, still do all this.
Yes.
Is that how you do it?
I have a podcast with you guys. I mean,
So, antisocial personality disorder is more commonly referred to as like sociopaths and psychopaths. So this would be a
it's not an
psychopath.
officially medically recognized term anymore.
It's not. They have like
That's too bad.
gone away with those. But the main difference would be like the psychopath is like
I
someone
think
who's
your
going to
profession got
murder.
significantly less fun with that decision.
I know, right? Like, you know, way less TV shows are going to be made with psychology stuff now. Anyway. But the sociopath is more like a con artist, where they're going to have parties, they're going to fool people, they're going to deceive and work their magic in those ways,
So is he,
and still have no empathy
Which
and remorse.
one is he then?
He would fit more with the
sociopath.
con
The sociopath,
artist.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's more of the antisocial
Socio as in
psychopath.
like more social, like he's throwing parties.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That was cool.
Want to
Who's
move on
next?
to one of the good guys?
Again, I don't know if we should. Are we?
Sorry,
are they all
right.
Good guys?
This is going to be hard for you guys to be the parents of. I wanted to pick C-3PO.
Not hard at all. Let's do
Who's
this.
Anakin?
I'll be the maker.
All right.
I'm R2 then.
That's pretty adorable. Okay. Thank you,
can only beep and
R2.
whistle, Chris.
So are you going to translate for him, Ross?
Nope. I don't speak droid.
Okay.
But do you speak bocce? No. Darn it.
Some of these are going to be hard to figure out because we're working with a droid rather than a human. So I do want your guys' take on this. Have you noticed with C-3PO a pattern of orderliness or perfectionism? He's not very flexible
Yes.
or open.
Absolutely.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
That's him to a T.
I'm going to read another list and we're going to see how many
Especially
of these he
considering
fits.
that he's a protocol droid. Like, he's literally supposed to be designed to be able to be social and interact with people, and he's not flexible at all. Like, he has trouble with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would
Unless
you
they're
say...
Ewoks. He gets along really well with Ewoks.
Oh, okay. Would you say he's really preoccupied with rules, lists, order, schedules, even to the point where he's lost track of the original activity he was supposed to be taking
Yes,
part
there's
in?
an entire episode of the Clone Wars about that exact thing.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, like all of that. Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get a yes to most of these then, probably from that episode. Do you notice that his perfectionism with tasks or completing them to protocol interferes with him actually completing a task?
Yes. Yep, that same episode.
Does he feel excessively devoted to work or productivity to the point of excluding leisure activity or his friendships?
I would say mostly yes, but he does genuinely care about R2.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say it's mostly like his pedanticness that gets in the way of his friendships. Like, he is more concerned with correcting people and being right than he is with being a good friend. First and foremost is being correct, being right.
Although, well, yeah, that's true. I would say in The Last Jedi, though, how we see him interacting with Leia is more normal in terms of, like, he's still a little bit of, like, the fussy butler, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit more normal than it is in, like, the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy,
They kind of
especially.
wound down his anxiety a little.
Yeah,
Maybe it's because he had therapy.
could be.
Maybe.
Droid therapy. Let's just take a guess.
I think they call that a memory wipe.
And he gets those regularly.
Okay, so that could have happened. Do you feel like he's inflexible when it comes to ethics or values or morality?
Not fully inflexible.
Pretty inflexible, though.
He would really prefer not to, but in really extenuating circumstances, like impersonating a deity,
He can't because it's against his programming. He didn't actually. Well, I guess he did eventually.
But he didn't tell the Ewoks, "Hey, look, I'm not a droid. Sorry, it's that guy over there doing this." Like he didn't say.
So there
he
is a
kinda went
little
along
bit,
with
but
it.
for the most part,
he would.
he's
Yeah,
generally-
he'd really rather stick to the rules, but in really extenuating circumstances, like my friends are about to be eaten, he's willing to.
Is there an
fudge a
allowance
little
made
bit.
for like someone making you do this? Like in this case, if he were left to himself, he wouldn't have told those Ewoks.
That's
he
true.
was a god. But he is so devoted to his owners that he will do it. Is there something?
Well,
He's
no,
pretty dependent on his friends.
But
This would be more
Luke
of
may
he
be
moves.
his owner, but I think he genuinely does regard Luke as a friend. And his friends
Does
are in
he?
trouble. Like, he wanted to help, but was like, well, but I can't, though, because that's against my programming. And Luke was like, look, this is all I need you to do. Just say these words, and I'll take care of the rest. And he, to save his friend, was like, okay, I will say these words, because that doesn't
Was it
technically
to save
violate
his friends,
my
or was it
rules.
because his master had literally just told him, say these words?
That's what I would go with. I know I'm supposed to be the unbiased
I don't think
therapist,
so.
but I'd be voting
I
with
don't
that
think
parent
so
right
because
now.
the Luke's tone is not like, do this, droid that I own. It's like, come on, buddy, just...
Well, but again, a well-programmed droid, you wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
3PO only ever gives.
I just want to believe the best about 3PO. Why can't you guys just give him the benefit of the doubt?
I'm just trying to be clear-headed and objective about this.
To my memory, he only ever makes one objection when someone asks him to do something he doesn't want to do, but then he still does it anyway. So, and that's as far as I can remember. I could be,
He's definitely a people pleaser.
yeah.
Like he'll bend over to do, he's a doormat.
Well, his hinges are kind of.
The bending over. I got it, Ross.
He does have trouble. Yes,
Good
I
job,
got it
Ross.
too.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I got it
I agree.
All right, would you guys say if C-3PO had to delegate tasks to someone else, would he do it in a way that was very reluctant because he wants it to be done his way?
No, I think he'd be pretty up for that. I can't think of any instances of him doing it, but I'm pretty sure if he could have someone who's like, oh, you'd be better at this, I feel like he'd do that.
Yeah. Okay, so yes and no. If 3PO thinks that there is someone better qualified to do the task, he will absolutely try to get that person to do the task. The problem is there are a great many tasks that he thinks he is better at than other people when he is in fact not and is reluctant to give it up.
We do see him berating R2 for turning on a heater in the princess's room on Hoth,
Yes.
which would lead me to believe that
There are several
he
episodes
thinks he could've
where
done it
he
better.
would have done it better.
there are several episodes of the Clone Wars where 3PO actually has to do protocol droid things, which is rare.
Yes.
And in those episodes, we do see him actually kind of acting as the major domo. Just, he's the guy in charge, he's the guy with all the lists, he's the guy making sure everybody gets their stuff done, but he's given himself quite a lot of the list to do himself because he thinks, well, like, this is my programming, this is what I've been made to do, when there may be other people that could help out and maybe lighten the load a little bit, and he doesn't want to. Now, when he is asked to do things that he is capable of doing, but that involve even minimal amounts of danger, he is always trying to shovel that responsibility off to somebody else.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Would you say that in general he's pretty rigid or stubborn?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, in general.
Okay,
for
got
sure.
it. For my final question, and I guess this is kind of to decide between
Is it
two
a substance
diagnoses.
abuse question? Because I saw
No.
him with some really bloodshot eyes the other day.
Oh, high five, Chris. That was good.
You know, I didn't even think of that, so you're right.
He's doing the hashish.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he got like a sleeve tattoo, a red sleeve tattoo, just because all his friends were doing it. Yeah.
Oh, man, you're going to have problems raising this kid. Sorry about that.
Shoot.
All right, for my last question, do you guys feel like he doesn't like being this way? That he doesn't like being rigid or stubborn? Or does he just cope with it at this point? It's who he is.
I feel like he copes pretty well. Yeah.
I don't think it's even coping. I think he likes being this way, and would prefer that other people would be a little bit more like that.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a consensus then. This is obsessive compulsive disorder,
Oh, for sure.
personality disorder.
What's
So there
the
are
difference?
two differences here. For people who have obsessive compulsive disorder, they don't like that they're that way.
Okay.
Where when it's so ingrained in your personality that this is just the way you are and you want others to conform with your way of doing things, your way of making lists and following rules, that is essentially just part of your personality. So it's a personality disorder.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is him to an absolute T, though.
Yep.
Totally fits. I have one last one if you guys are up for it.
Carrie, I don't think the podcast can afford the bill for the end of this, so hopefully this is some pro bono work. Because,
I will try to give you a friends and family discount.
okay, thank you.
All right, and lastly, we have
Don't we have insurance? I mean,
Star Wars
the Hutts have
insurance.
got to have some insurance.
That's true.
I think it's we'll break your kneecaps if you don't. That's the insurance.
We've got the first order insurance. I mean, that's got to be pretty good too.
Oh my goodness,
Which
you guys.
is we'll blow up your star system if you don't.
The resistance insurance sucks.
It sure does. Well, it's because that death and disability, clause in those early days just bankrupted them. First
Okay,
Order doesn't offer death and disability.
since we have progressively
Great
gotten
dental
to
care, though.
okay, we
Gotta
have
make sure you can bite
progressively
your enemies if you need to.
we've gotten to more and more
And then
annoying
interrupt Carrie one more
characters.
time.
That's enough. That's enough.
Sorry, Kyler. We're now going to talk about Jar Jar Binks.
Oh,
So, channel your inner
I'm the
Jar Jar
step-parent
Binks
here.
parents.
I'm the step
I'll be boss nass.
That was impressive.
Yeah, well done.
I got the waddle going on, So.
I wasn't positive on this one, so I only have one to suggest, and we'll see how well it fits. Do you feel like one of his main problems is that he's inattentive? He doesn't pay attention.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
absolutely.
Does he be careless with details, makes mistakes just solely based on that?
Yes.
Does he have trouble sustaining attention?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Does he
This is a
seem...
guy who, in the middle of a conversation, will just start slapping fruit out of a bowl on the table. This is a guy who forgets he's holding a tool, drops it into an engine, then bends over and doesn't even notice that there's a force field in front of his face. I mean, he got some issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprisingly good juggler.
That's true.
Is there times when it doesn't seem like he's listening to you, even when you speak to him directly?
Yes. You got to be very forceful.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
That was
true.
funny.
But
Does he not follow through on instructions? Isn't able to finish his tasks or get sidetracked?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. At this point, I feel like we could quit here. He's already reached his diagnosis. But hey, I'm going to keep going because
Yeah.
I want to see how many of these
How many he
fit.
gets.
Would he have difficulty organizing things, like having a set of sequential tasks if he was in charge of putting it in order?
Oh, I don't think he could even accomplish putting them in an
Unless
order.
the order is stacking plates and cups. Yeah, he can't do it.
Okay, got
true.
it. So you know what his future job is going to be then.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
got to be a busboy.
That's weird though that he achieved senator with his skill
Well, we
set that
discussed this
believe
in the
him
last
capable of.
episode, actually. You'll hear it next
Yeah.
week.
Okay, good to know. Does he avoid or is reluctant to get involved with tasks that actually do require sustained mental effort?
I don't think he's aware enough of his own limitations to be that concerned about the sustained mental effort.
Yeah, he doesn't appear to be, too concerned.
He's not
but I-
brimming with confidence by any means,
Okay.
but he's also not self-doubting, significantly enough at least.
Okay. Do you feel like he would lose materials or things that he needed to actually finish his tasks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know Doc Brown frantically trying to put things together at the end of Back to the Future? Like, Jar Jar is that, turned up to 11, injected with steroids. Like,
Yeah.
Would he get distracted by things if there was an external stimulus going on, or even his unrelated thoughts? Would that throw him off?
Absolutely.
It does regularly. It's not a would or a hypothetical.
Yep.
That's like moment to moment what happens.
So then would he get forgetful in just daily activities?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm surprised he dresses himself.
It is honestly a little bit shocking.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thank you guys.
Surprised he got through that whole speech in the Senate, actually.
That gives me a lot of information. I've got another set of questions for you then. Does he fidget or tap his hands and feet?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The puppeteers have a name for pointless movement that has no meaning. It is literally jar-jarring. Like, he is the poster child for meaningless movement.
He's the definition of that. Literally,
Yes.
his name is.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
it's
mentioned that
awesome.
on a previous episode. I remember
It's
that.
okay. It's hard to... I say a lot of things.
It's true. I tuned most of it out.
Apparently.
Right, too.
If Jar Jar needed to stay in a seat, would it be likely that he'd leave that seat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Later,
he
not
does
so much.
stay seated at the Shmi Skywalker residence, although he is grabbing fruit with his bare tongue. He does stay seated for long periods of time in the Senate.
But does he? They're often standing there.
Oh, yeah, I did
Just
think he was
standing in the
standing.
background. He's standing at the Boonta Eve. I don't think he's... Maybe not the worst on that. We don't have any specific evidence yet that he
Yeah.
has trouble staying seated, but given everything else, I feel like that's he's a strong contender for that.
Possibility. Okay. Would he run around or climb in situations where that doesn't fit?
Yes.
Okay. Is he unable to just relax and enjoy some leisure quiet time?
I don't know. I think he is mostly leisurely, but that's just because he's like super ADD. And
I just feel like any leisure quiet time he has isn't going to be very quiet.
that's true.
or
Like he does
leisurely.
like to go swimming. We see that.
Yeah.
You know. So
And he makes it a loud activity.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the quiet
The-
time. Not,
So yeah, he's not
Yeah.
good at quiet.
Yeah, the quiet,
but
not so
I think
much,
he
but
can enjoy
leisure,
himself in leisure
yeah.
time. Yeah,
Okay. Would you say that
it is.
is it uncomfortable for him to try to be still? Is he usually just on the go?
yes. I think so.
Yeah.
Would you say he talks excessively?
Oh. It is.
I think you
possibly
will
his
never
most
find
defining-
anyone,
Yeah.
who does not think that Jar Jar has talked too much.
Blurts out answers before the question has even been finished. Is he likely to do that?
Semi, like medium, like not huge.
Sometimes it's frankly surprising he doesn't, but I think that's just because it's a movie and they needed to have the audience finish hearing the question.
exactly.
I think if Jar Jar and like Qui-Gon were to actually have like an off-camera conversation, it would be a constant running series of Qui-Gon trying to say things and Jar Jar interrupting. And
Yeah, maybe. I could see that.
Has a maybe one. Okay. Would he have difficulty waiting his turn?
yes,
Yeah, this is a guy who's walking by an open air market and literally just tries to eat stuff off the shelf as he's walking by. Like,
yeah, without even
paying.
thinking of
Yeah.
paying. It's not like, oh, I can't afford it. Okay, well, I'm going to take it. It's, oh, there it is. Well,
Well, no, he does look around to see if anyone's looking.
oh, so that's even worse.
wow.
So
Yeah, that's true.
he's a thief.
Yeah, well, he's an attempted thief.
Let's not give him too much credit.
Even that
Gets
he
caught
fails
in
at,
it
yeah.
and then spits it into Sebulba's.
Yeah.
Is he likely to interrupt or intrude on others, maybe even take over what they're doing or saying?
Yes.
You have seen episode 1, right? I think he intruded in that movie and tried to just take it over.
There's I think several examples of him interrupting people's conversations to just insert himself in there. I'd say that's a fairly common behavior for him.
Feeling a little bit guilty.
In fact, in that episode, in the episode of when he's with Bail Organa to negotiate with the Toydarians, like they start out, he's yelling to the king, just like, "Oh, hello
Yeah.
there," and Bail Organa's like, "All right, just let me do the talking," and Jar Jar still interrupts him every other line.
Yep.
Is it likely that he had a lot of these symptoms before he turned 12?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, I gotta say, as much as Jar Jar is annoying, I think picturing him as a cute little, like, preteen, that's kind of adorable, don't you think? Okay, sorry, wrong audience. All right. Would you say his symptoms are present in multiple settings? This would happen at school. This would happen at home.
Yes.
This would happen at work.
Yeah.
Okay.
He seems to have reached a point where he semi-functions at work.
I'm shocked that we don't see more of this like disruptive behavior at the Senate, like at Coruscant, like in the Senate House. You know, like
I feel like
It's shocking
probably
it's not there.
someone is medicating him at work.
Or maybe
that could
he's
be.
had
that.
therapy.
Actually, that's kind of like a likely.
No, I'm going to go with
I'm
medication.
gonna headcanon that one. I think that's what's happening.
I think that's why he's worse when he's not at the Senate. Even in the Clone Wars, when he's not present at the Senate, it's kicked up a notch again. I think it's because whoever's dosing him is at the Senate. And
no
is
one's
giving
slipping
him
Ritalin in
Palpatine.
his coffee.
Yeah, it could be.
That's terrible. Okay, based on what you guys have described, then he does fit all of the criteria with a couple of exceptions for the hyperactivity ADHD.
Yep.
So he is both inattentive and hyperactive, so he's going to have a combined presentation because he has both. Because he met with so many of the criteria, he would be considered severe. Apparently, that's why he's more likely to be victimized and poisoned at the Senate. Not poisoned, medicated against his will.
Yeah.
I think we also call that poisoning.
Okay, you guys did very well at this. Like, thank you for being the parents of multiple odd Star Wars
Co-parenting.
characters.
Yeah.
Right, that's the term.
Yes, yes.
Now, who's going to live with whom? I call Kylo Ren. I think I can handle the outbursts. So.
I'll take 3PO.
They're all old enough they can get apartments on their own. Probably in the city, but
That's
they don't
true.
have to live
That's
here.
true.
Do you want Jabba out in the city unsupervised, though?
I don't want him here.
Maybe we need to look at some boarding school options for him then.
Hogwarts is
You know what? I know this great monastery out in the desert.
Yeah, exactly. The Bomar monks will fix him up for sure.
Yeah.
Master, the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Yeah, I think we all know who did that.
Jabba. Oh, shoot.
Very good.
That was awesome, Carrie. That was way fun.
A lot of
Which I know I didn't go to a lot of characters. We could talk about Rey. We could talk
Oh,
about Vader.
I
That
think-
might
I
be
think
another
We'll
episode.
have you on again to do this.
Absolutely.
This was
This
way
was a
fun.
blast.
So, yeah, let us know, listeners, what you thought of this episode.
As long as you liked it. Don't bother telling us if you
exactly. Yeah, we're not interested in your negative reports. No, I'm just kidding. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at More Civilized and on Facebook. Join the Facebook group, A More Civilized Podcast.
Where you can potentially become our favorite listener, such as this week's favorite listener.
Hey!
I feel bad, like making it sound like we're limiting to Facebook, and that's where most of them come from. But really, any social media.
There's just more people post there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also easier for me to find. Yeah, just saying. This week's favorite listener is Neil Minson for
Again?
posting.
Oh, I gave him a shout out the other week. No, right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For posting about Jon Favreau wanting to do a new holiday special. I still don't understand you guys. It's not a remake of the special. It's just
Let the past die.
yes,
Kill it if you
and
have
this
to.
will kill it.
No.
if we can get something to go
No,
over
this
the
is
top.
repeating the past over again.
It's not. It'll have nothing
I'm
to
sorry.
do with Wookiees.
You sound like socialists
or
insisting
Life
that
Day.
this time it'll totally
No.
work.
Maybe he'll make it ironic. Like, instead of Wookiee Life Day, there's going to be like a Death Day, and it'll just be funny.
Pneumonia Death Day.
Nope.
Also, shout out to Rural Farm Boy at Rural Farm Boy out in Pennsylvania. He regularly shouts us out. He follows a bunch of Star Wars podcasts in it. Anyway, so what's up,
Thanks.
dude?
Rural farm boy. The rural drawer.
And you can find me on Twitter at Mr_R_star.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at Itinerant Baxter. We would love to know on Twitter or Facebook if there are any places you'd like to find the podcast that you can't, or if you have any ideas for episodes that you'd like to hear us talk about, or episodes that we've done that you would like to hear more of, like this one.
And you can find me
Yes.
if you need therapy after this podcast.
This podcast, all the therapy they need.
Yep. And,
I didn't just mean this episode, I mean this entire podcast. Like, we're basically the therapists, right? Yeah.
May the force be with you.
Always.
I'm Anna Graves, and thank you for listening to a more civilized podcast.
Okay, sounds that better?
Yep.
Well done, Chris.
Thanks.
Well done.
That was a wussy clap.
That was.
Do you normally have to cut out this much?
No.